told you this box was full of Super Nintendo games. And how are you feeling? You got John Riggs here. Yes, the fan is rolling because it's 100 degrees. I ain't turning it off. So, I do this every once in a while. You know, somebody will be like, hey, I'm selling all my games. And I'm like, dude, if you just don't even tell me what the games are, I'll just give you some cash. Just make sure it's a good value, please, because I am going to do a video on this. Most of the time, it works out pretty well. A couple of times, not so much. But it's fun for me because it gives me a chance to re-experience some of these games too. This is not exactly full of Super Nintendo games. It looks like it is, and it sure feels heavy enough that it is. But it's also full of a bunch of packing material to make sure it got to me safely. I don't even know how many games are in here. If I had to guess just by looking vaguely, 60, 70 games. That's not bad. Now up front, I ain't gonna find an Earthbound. I ain't gonna find an EVO. Not finding a Pocky and Rocky. Not finding a Wild Guns. I mean, there's a slim chance. However, probably not. Probably not. So, I love the fact that it comes with this because I do reuse this when I sell stuff. I sell stuff? I do, by the way. I'm the sponsor of today's video. Find me on my shops on Shopify as well as Etsy. I make my own custom air fresheners. This is the high school cafeteria one. I also want to make one that smells like Star Tropical, which is like jungle and pina colada. That one's pretty popular. I have an arcade one that smells like menthol cigarettes, wood paneling, spilt Coke, and used gum. That one's probably my most popular. But I still have a few left. I also make my own video games too. This one's Choo Choo Mimic for the NES. You know, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the old school 8-bit Nintendo. Nintendinho if you live in Brazil. It won the Debug Indie Game Awards for Retro World, which was a high honor for me. Only 2 games have ever won that award, and I'm one of them, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I make my own stuff, I sell my own stuff, custom action figures and stuff like that too. Check out those things. I see all these great, I love the fact that all my friends have sponsors. They're all like, you know, this video is brought to you by this company and that company and this other company, and you know, they give them cash and they give them materials and they give them stuff to use, and I don't have that on this channel. Maybe I need to do more outreach. Maybe. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Again, $500 I paid for this box, and the idea is, even if I keep a game or two, the idea is I'm at least going to make my money back on Whatnot when I do a Whatnot stream, or even sell some of these games on Encore. If you're not part of Whatnot or Encore, you can download both of those apps. I use them personally, and if you use my link, then you get cash towards your first purchase. Whatnot gives you 15 bucks, Encore only gives you 5 bucks for now, but still 5 bucks is 5 bucks. I love them both. I love them both because Whatnot is the live stream I can do for a while, and I'm talking to you, and I am able to actually chat with people in the chat. And then Encore is more of a set it and forget it. You just use it, people can bid on it whenever they want, and that's pretty sweet too. I'm not really looking at the titles, I'm just kind of pulling them out in groups. I don't even know what was in here. I'm just like, don't even tell me what's in here. I want to be surprised as well. I'm already seeing a few games that are pretty good. I'm seeing a few games that are pretty Madden. I see a Madden right here, so. But again, you know, all at once, you never know. Did my friend a favor, because, you know, he was just like, I'm looking at just selling this, and he was going to sell it, you know, piecemeal it individually at conventions. Reached out to me, I was like, well, you know, sometimes there's like, well, never mind going through the hassle of all that. You know, just give me the, you know, I'll just do this all at once. Then I'll sell it all at once at RiggsCon. What is RiggsCon? Well, it's not, there's no such thing. It's me selling games on the app. All right, why do I do this to myself? Why do I do this? 500 bucks, that could have been, I could have bought myself a flight to a convention I'm not even a guest for. I could have bought myself, that 500 bucks probably would have been my ticket to like Retropalooza. I'm trying to think what other conventions are coming up between now and the end of the year. There's a few of them. Is there a convention I need to go to that I've never been to? Hit me up in the comments. I'm already going to Cleveland. Oh, I'm actually wearing this shirt. Look at this. I'm going to Cleveland Gaming Classic in September. Pittsburgh Gaming Expo. I'll be in Pittsburgh Gaming Expo in early October. I will be at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo also in October, and that's all I'm booked for. So if there's anything else out there, let me know. The games are as follows. Lemmings. I was an insane fan of Lemmings when it first came out. Clay Fighters 2. This is C2. I'm not as gung-ho on the Clay Fighters games. I would always play them. I would rent them, but not really my thing. You know, I was just more like, I'd just rather play Street Fighter. Kokoma Knight in Busyland, because apparently all the other good names for Super Nintendo games were already taken. Championship Pool. Right. This is Choplifter 3. I didn't even know there's a Choplifter 2, but I love Choplifter, so I'm actually, you know what's funny? I don't know if I've ever played this game. Happy to check it out. The best label condition Clay Fighter you ever saw. Jim Power in the Lost Dimension in 3D. Ooh, I don't know. Joe and Mac will go down in video game history for me as the first Super Nintendo game I ever rented. Judge Dredd. Killer Instinct. I don't know. Gotta love me some Kirby's Avalanche. It's Puyo. It's a Puyo game, but it's Kirby's Avalanche here on Super Nintendo. Kyle Petty's No Fear Racing. Well, with a mullet and mustache like that, I don't blame him. GP1. Well, it's from Atlas, so it can't be that bad. Gradius 3, super amazing game. Home Alone. You know, it's funny, that iconic logo of like him going, oh no! In the movie, he wasn't scared of those guys at all. That whole face scene came from when he, you'll remember, it's after he shaved for the first time and used aftershave, which notoriously kind of burns if you're not used to it. I don't use aftershave, but it can. But yeah, but they always use that shot, that him doing that dumb face for all the promo stuff. Even though in the movie, he doesn't care. He's like egging him on. Cool World, the movie cooler than the game, but fun to see all the same. Darius Twin, love the Darius series, always fun to see this. Got Demolition Man, fun. I love this movie. I haven't seen it in a while, I gotta watch it again. Desert Strike, came out during a time when there was like Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, Military Strike, I don't know, Bowling Strike. I mean, there's so many, there's like 3 strikes you're out. There's so many of these strike games, but they were actually all pretty decent, so I had a fun with, I think Desert Strike was my favorite. Aladdin, everyone has their preference when they see this game, Super Nintendo or Genesis. Personally, I prefer Sega Genesis, but the Super Nintendo is actually very, very good. It doesn't mean that the Genesis one is good and this one's bad. I mean, I just prefer the Genesis one. However, this one's such a good game. Jungle Book, got Flashback. I love this style of game. Big Hurt Baseball. All right. Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball. Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball. Frank Thomas is not copyright. Big Hurt is. Interesting. Or maybe Frank Thomas Big Hurt is copyright. I don't know. Timon and Pumbaa. Draken. I'm very nostalgic for this game. A little convoluted, a little hard to figure out, but very nostalgic just walking around in this game. My friends and I had tons of fun playing Faceball 2000. Or is it 3000? It's been so long. Family Feud, neat. Final Fight. Why wasn't this game not a 2-player game on Super Nintendo? Makes 0 sense. First Samurai. This is an interesting title. Look it up on YouTube sometime. First Samurai. There is a second Samurai, but it's on the Sega Genesis, but never came out in the US. But if you're looking for a game with samurais, ninjas, magic, prehistoric, time travel, it's an interesting one. This game stars someone you know. Lester the Unlikely. It's like looking in a mirror. We got the Lion King. Much harder of a video game than ought to be for what you would think is a kid's game. And I don't just mean the double jump section. I mean just the whole game itself. It's longer than it should be. It's just difficult. Lord of the Rings. Man, I tried to get into this game so much, but it's a slow sludge. But yeah, Lord of the Rings though. We had a Lord of the Rings game. We still have a lot of more games to go here. Mario's Time Machine. This actually, for being like an edutainment game, it's actually oddly fun. I remember renting this and be like, oh, that was a fun time spent. War of the Gems. Got the Marvel superhero style game here. Fun game. Mech Warrior 3050. Metal Combat, another Super Scope game. Mickey Mania. Great animation on this game. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Original, old school, NBA All-Star Challenge, NBA Live 95. For people that used to do Super Nintendo repros, you know all about Live 95. Because it has the 2 meg feature. They can make 2 meg games instead of just 1 meg games easily. But I don't do that anymore. I just use flashboards. Madden 95, Madden 98, maybe your favorite team had a better year in 1998. Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, super fun game. Mario's early years, fun with numbers. I admittedly never played this one. Didn't really need to or have to or whatever. And my kids played the Sesame Street games, but we never tried the Super Nintendo learning games. On the Ball, the pictures don't do it justice. Playing this game is super, super fun. Well, it's a little bit like the bonus stages in the first Sonic the Hedgehog, kind of. Pitfall, the Mayan Adventure. The best part was finding that secret door that you can play like the original Pitfall for the 2600. Populous for Super Nintendo. Man, I tried to play this game, couldn't quite figure it out. But they did find the NES ROM, finally. So, I mean, this is also slated for the NES, but it never came out here. Baduba. Out of this world. Super fun. I loved this game. This is Pac-Man 2. He makes that sound in this game. I kind of like this one. NHL 95, Stanley Cup, and Super Metroid. No, I'm just kidding. It's NCAA basketball. If I fall for it every time. I know. Why they got to make Super Metroid and NCAA basketball look like just at a glance with my eyesight? It's like, oh, hey, no. Fall for it every time. Well, what are you going to do? Anyway. $500? I don't think it was a bad deal at all. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to go for later on with Whatnot, with Encore, and then when I do Whatnot, I'm also able to put my own games in there too, which is kind of fun. So I got other stuff laying around. I could add those to it too. And this better be the last one I do for a while. Let me recoup. let me recoup some funds so I can also do some shopping in person at some of these conventions coming up. That's fun for me. Again, thanks for hanging out. September, I'm going to see you in Cleveland, and then Pittsburgh and Portland Retro Gaming Expo in October.